Banished. How to not starve. The key to not starving in the game Banished is to focus on food production at the start of the game. This is not my starting area. I'm sure it's nearby. But here's what I do when I start the game. The first thing you want to do is build a fishing dock. And the reason why is because the fishing dock can produce food all year round. It's easy to build. You just have to get to a river or a water source. So what you do at the start of the game is you want to zoom out and look for the nearest water and start building in that direction. And then build the fishing dock, and the food production will be better. The problem with the orchard is it takes time for the trees to grow, so it takes time before you can get a yield of food from the orchard. The problem with the farm is that you might plant everything, but you might not have people to reap the yield, the food, at the end of the season, and they might not get everything. And the season can be different every year. So winter can come early one year or late another year. And you cannot produce food all year round. You just get a lump sum at the end of the year. Some food produces more than others. With the orchard, I think you have to wait 2 years before you can start picking fruit, and you cannot do it all year round. You can only do it at the end of the growing season. So then you have what's called a pasture. The problem with the pasture is that you might not produce anything. If you have only 2 animals to start with, it could take a long time before they produce enough food, and you could lose everything because they do have to mate. There are male and female animals. If you have 2 male, then they're not going to reproduce. So then the other option is something called a gatherer. This is the apiary. The gatherer you put near the forests, and then the other one is a hunter. And the problem with those two is they have to be near a forest, and you might chop all the trees down, and then if you chop all the trees down, then you don't get the deer to go hunt for, you don't get the roots to go gathering for, so it's a problem. The apiary comes from a mod. The apiary produces a very high quantity of food. You have to enable it, but with a few apiaries you can produce large quantities of food. So if you want to use the mod system, I definitely recommend apiary. So another option is to use a trading post. But the problem with the trading post is that you have to wait for the boats to come in, and the boat might not bring in food. So there's a lot of issues with the way the trading works. And in my experience, I try to sustain a large population with the trading post, and it's difficult. Not impossible, but lots of difficulty. You bring in fruit, you make ale, you trade it for more fruit, and you've always got more food coming in. But as you can see from my population graph, it goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And I believe the problem is I might not have enough houses, which is why it stopped with the increase. So there's other ways you can improve your food production, and that is to not use any schools, because the population will go to work immediately growing food, which is kind of critical. You have to, if you need to use it, you use it. And tools are another option, because tools will allow you to grow food faster, to harvest more food. So those are most of your options. If you go through the mods, there's going to be some options that allow you to either grow the food faster or have the cattle reproduce faster, etc. And they might be able to do something like change the beekeeper so that he produces more food, etc., or that there's a minimum. So that's how you do it. And my recommendation, after playing the game for years, is head to the water as quick as possible and build the fisherman's hut. And when you need food, send everybody fishing. There's 4 people per fisherman's hut. And you want one, you see you've got the circle here, and then this guy has his circle here. Their circles don't overlap. Build a couple of fishermen's huts, and during the winter time or whenever, get your guys fishing in order to produce as much food as possible. You're gonna need a storage area, like a storage barn, in order to store the fish, and just focus on fishing, not so much on building houses and other buildings. Your population, if it's young, let's say they're 18, you've got 20 or 30 years that they can still reproduce. So that's, you know, the clock going around 20 or 30 times. You got a lot of chances before you have to worry about building houses. With food, it's different because they have to eat all the time. So don't focus on building any large projects until you have an oversupply of food. Make sure your warehouse is full of food, and then you won't have any problem. Okay, so that's how you do it. Don't worry about getting seeds or having diversity of crops or any of that. Just focus on getting as much food as possible. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.